Good afternoon, everybody. Today is February the 10th, 2025, and we are back with another Updates Unveiled. This is probably one of my most valuable video series, but I thought to myself, I should probably update another video of this. And I looked, and it has been since October since I did this last. I think that that's like going to be the theme of these. So I do apologize. These are some of my most watched videos. And oh my gosh, do we have a lot to cover because we have had just the craziest January ever. So if you have been kind of paying attention to the channel, we actually officially launched the SAM 2.0 version of the Systems Accelerator Manager. So what that means is we now have all-in-one CRM capabilities. So we have a contacts, properties, listings, and transactions database inside of SAM. We also have routines, modern, reimagined workflow automations built into the system, and we have some crazy stuff to do. So today we're going to be diving into what feels like a lot of content, but hopefully we can do it really quickly and we can bring you back up to speed. Now, here's the thing. I have been posting quite a few videos. This is probably why I have kind of put this to the backside, but I've been posting quite a lot of videos from our Workflow Secrets Demo Day 2025. Now, I'll throw the playlist up here in the corner because you can see in depth all of the different features, and we've been using the opportunity all through January to showcase the SAM 2.0 platform, and it has been a lot of fun, and I think we're actually going to continue these into February, and our next one will be February the 20th. So if you're interested, you can go to workgrits.info/demo day, and you can get signed up. You can spend some time live with Mark and I, and you can actually see the system in action. But that's for another time. We will go ahead and we're going to dive into SAM, and we're going to see exactly what is going on. So very first and foremost, I like to draw attention to this. If you have not yet, notice on the bottom left-hand side, we have recent updates. Now, in this recent updates, you have the ability to watch any of our updates unveiled videos right here. But we actually try to write out just a quick little list of what we have been up to. So January, as you can see, was pretty busy. November, we did just a lot of little tiny fixes, including adding update fields and things into the routines. We fixed a couple of the different formatting issues. And then we also added the ability inside contacts to have social links and an agreement section. But then we have some really cool stuff. So let's go ahead and let's start off a contact, and we'll go ahead and I'll show you guys a couple of the different things. So very first thing that's worth showcasing to you is the agreement section. And you can add an agreement on the right-hand side, but this is going to allow you inside any of the contacts keep track of agreements. We also have social links. So if you are adding to a contact, trying to learn about and build a good relationship with them, social links can all live here. Now, the really cool thing is I click that and you're not able to see it, but it did pull out the actual social media account. So that's really neat too. So that is coming inside the contacts. The other thing that we did inside the routine section is we added 2 integrations. So inside routines, and I'm going to showcase something crazy in just a second about routines, but I'm going to click on this. So this is a routine activity, and inside the routine activity, I have one action, and that would be to send to Slack. And so we have lots of options for the actions inside these routine activities. And oftentimes we're sending messages, maybe we're adding to a call list, but we can now send to Slack. Now, Slack is its own platform, but essentially it allows teams to communicate, kind of hang out in one centralized place. So imagine it's kind of like a big group chat for your business, but specifically focused on different topics. So this is really helpful. Now, what a lot of our users will use this specific integration for is to send notifications to Slack. They might have their Slack notifications turned on. So anytime they get, say, a new lead inside of SAM, the whole team gets a notification. Now, it's worth noting that you do need to go into the integrations and add that Slack integration. Basically just signs into your Slack account so that you have the ability to do that. Now, the other thing that you can do in these routines under those is you can update fields. Now, what this means is you now have the ability to update any of the different fields inside the contact. Now, this is really cool because you can start to trigger additional routines to start by updating fields, or you can just update information. So a really good use of this would be, let's say we learn the birthday of someone, and now we know that their birthday is in January. Maybe we have a January birthdays routine that gets triggered and fired off. And anytime we fill out our birthday, they get triggered into that one. And we can actually add a tag for January birthdays. That would be a really good way for us to do that. Things like that are going to allow us to do that. Maybe we're updating statuses from a warm lead to a client, things like that. But you're able to do this really quickly. And on top of that, you can actually trigger routines off of learning or updating those fields. So that's really impressive. That's really cool. And that kind of brings us to January. And like I said, January was quite the month. I think this is probably where Mark went like full rev. He's finally been over here at Workflow Secrets long enough that I think he finally has a good feel for what's going on. And it's been a lot of fun to watch. But we have some really big integrations inside of SAM that we should absolutely cover. So the very first thing is we now have routines for properties and listings and transactions. We have a properties database. And so let's go ahead and dive into that. So you guys are familiar with the contacts database. Now we have a properties database. Now this allows us to be considered an all-in-one CRM for real estate agents because it has everything you need in it. It has contacts, properties, and not only does it have properties data, but it has listing and transaction data. So here's the really cool thing about the properties database. I like to say you will probably have a property when you have gone through the listing process and the transaction. But not every property will have a listing or transaction. And there are other systems out there that like to segment those. And so what happens is you have several different duplicates. It's really difficult to track. But now all of the property information can be stored here. We have an ability to have different activities or different routines started on our properties. You can put notes, you can attach files, but you also can tack listings into that specific property, and not just any listings, any historic listings. So maybe you have multiple listings that have occurred for this specific property that you have been a part of. That's excellent. That means you have engaged that repeat and referral business, and you can now keep all of that information in one centralized place. You have listing dates so that you can trigger listing routines or listing workflow automations. You can fill out marketing information. You can even let Sam help you build that marketing information. You have information, all of your different party members, and then some really cool things that we have inside the listing section of the properties database is loan information, or excuse me, estimated proceeds. So you can add in loan information, you can add in your realtor fees, estimated costs, and then Sam can actually generate a roughly speaking breakdown of what those estimated proceeds are. Now, should you take this to the bank? Absolutely not. This is just like a good guess, but this is going to give you something that you can kind of start to see, okay, what are the estimated proceeds for? Now, the other really cool thing about this listing database is our offers section. Now, Mark said this is something that he's always wanted to build. And generally speaking, it was just something that never got to in his other systems. But not only can you add all of the offers that are on a specific listing, but you can actually, inside each of these offers, once you're filling out all that information, you can ask Sam to evaluate that specific offer. And then it's going to give you some pros and some cons. And then it's going to give you a comparative score of what it thinks. Is this a good offer or not? And then what you can do is you can look at this comparative score and you can evaluate them against all of the different offers to make sure that you have a really good understanding of which offer would be the best, so that you can present all of the information possible to your buyer so that they can make an informed decision. Now, again, it's not your decision to make, but you can help give them as much information as possible. So this is really cool. On top of that, we have a note section, file section. Then you have access to your transactions. Now, very much like your listings, you may have multiple transactions that have occurred under one property. And so you can keep them all in this one area. It's got transaction details, important dates to run automations. You can keep track of all of the different party members that are involved. And very much like connected contacts, you can actually move into those contacts to see information, and then notes and files. So inside of this, you have a lot of power, not just as a properties database, but just your ability to use all of the tools that are inside SAM to really do something special. So that is a lot of what has occurred over building and launching in January the full SAM 2.0 system. And outside of that, we've had lots of little tiny things. We've improved how we're able to import all of the different things. That was mid-January. Now, the next thing that we did for some of Mark's old RealVolve users, there is that RealVolve integration. And when you fill in your RealVolve information, you can just use your login and it'll gather your utility API and your user ID. You can actually go to this workflows viewer. And from here, traditionally speaking, you could select the workflows. This is part of what I was able to do in the 1.0 product. And you can see all of the different workflow steps and if it has any templates. But now we actually have up here on this top right, you can back up any RealVolve data. So we've had a lot of customers who needed to move or migrate their data, or they just simply wanted to have a backup somewhere. So this is really cool because now you can take a 14-day free trial of SAM, you can migrate all of your information, and boom, you have it backed up into another system. Always, good to have a safe secondary. Now, the really cool thing is once it's all backed up, you can actually migrate it over into the actual SAM for the contacts, the properties, the transactions. We're actually working on finalizing workflows and templates so that you can get all of those moved. Now, the reason we don't have that finished yet is because routines are just a little different than workflows. And so it does take some time to get through all of those different pieces. But that's been a really cool thing to be able to have. Now, the last thing that I wanted to show you guys inside of the most recent updates is we can go build a new routine. And, let's talk through it historically speaking. Maybe this is a new lead nurture. You're going to go through here and you're going to build out this, this routine as you usually do, right? And you could do that. You could go through, and this is probably going to be nice because you could build out all your activities. You could attach actions to it. You're going to be moving pretty quick. But now we actually have the ability to let Sam build it. So in plain text, now all we have to do is explain what is the goal of this routine. It's a new lead nurture series. So we want to create a new lead nurture campaign for first-time home buyers. We want to send an email or a text message, total of 6 messages. And we want it to include some of the pitfalls in the buying process, frequently asked questions, and anything that they need to know. And so from there, I just explained, generally speaking, what would a new lead nurturing routine or a newly nurturing process system look like if we were to build the automations for it. Now, here's the crazy part, because Sam is actually building it. So Sam is currently going through each of the steps and building out all of the activities that are going to be inside this routine. And as you can see, it is just flying through exactly what it needs to do. Now, once it does that, it's going to build all of the actions, and it's going to build all of the templates inside the actual routine. So what that means is Sam has built the automation completely for us, and it's 14 out of 25. It is almost complete. And as I just ramble here, we were able to build this. So I want you to think about how you traditionally would build a workflow automation, probably going to take you a couple weeks. And then I want you to think about how using routines, you're able to focus on specific important dates. Now think about what I just built for a workflow automation, a routine using SAM, and oh my gosh, probably like 2 minutes, right? So this is now our routine that we built for our new lead nurture, and Sam built it all out. So this is understanding mortgage basics, and inside that, he's going to send a message. Oh, look, here's the template for us. So now, as our good friend Kendall Young would say, it's much easier to edit than it is to create. And so now all we have to do is go in here and make sure that we're reading through all of this content, we're adding or infusing our expertise as the real estate agent, and it is then ready to go. Once all the steps have been accomplished, all you'd have to do is click this little active button, and then anytime a new lead came into the database, that new lead date was filled in, boom, this routine could be triggered. Oh, and Sam built it so fast. So this is, for the most part, the big pieces inside of SAM 2.0, bringing us all the way up to February 20th, excuse me, February 10th, 2025. And boy, has it been a journey. But that is what we've got going on in here. What I would encourage you to do from here is go ahead and dive into your SAM account, start playing around with the properties, listings, transactions databases, start building routines using SAM, and just articulating in plain English, hey, what is it I'm hoping to accomplish? And just see how close Sam can get at building that routine, tweak anything that you feel like you need to tweak, and really utilize your experience as the real estate expert. But that is what we have been working on. Hopefully this has been really fun for you, and I will see you very soon.